So what happens to America if it can't find enough buyers for $11 trillion in US Treasuries? Will interest rates spiral out of control? And will the national debt explode? Stay with me, because the answer isn't what you think, and this affects all of us. Let's get to it. So tonight, we're cutting through the noise. The US national debt is about $37.2 trillion, and Washington must refinance about $9 trillion of existing debt and raise another $2 trillion on top of that. That's now $11 trillion in new treasuries hitting the market. Now, here's the danger. If there aren't enough buyers at around 4%, the government will be forced to raise yields, 4.25, 4.55, and maybe even 6%. And remember, every single 1% increase costs an extra $370 billion per year in interest. Now, that's nearly half of what we spend on the national defense. So how did we get here? The truth, honestly, is simple. The government has a bad habit of spending more than it collects, and to cover the gap, it issues treasuries, T-bills, notes, and bonds bought by individuals, banks, institutions, and foreign governments. But the math has become brutal because Washington needs buyers, and a lot of buyers, to keep up the borrowing and make it affordable. Now, President Trump's first plan was straightforward. Balance the budget, cut spending, and pay down debt. And at one point, Elon Musk was even put in charge of a program called Doge, aiming to slash up to $2 trillion a year from federal spending. But the reality was grim, because cutting that deeply would have risked throwing the country into a severe recession, because government spending is a major component of GDP. But by July of 2025, the deficit was actually worse than the year before because the cuts never materialized, and his first plan officially failed. And now Trump's pivoted to a new strategy: increase demand for treasuries instead of slashing spending. Here's how. Now, on the short-term side, the Genius Act tied stablecoins to treasuries. Now, the idea is this: as the crypto market grows, so does the need for stablecoins. And as more stablecoins are created, more treasury bills must be purchased as reserves. And that artificially boosts demand for T-bills, helping to keep short-term rates under control. Now, here's where things get interesting. So there's two gold-based scenarios that are being whispered about. Number one is gold-backed treasuries. Now, imagine loaning the US government money today, and instead of earning interest in 30 years, you're repaid in actual physical gold. There's no coupon payments, it's just a zero-coupon bond redeemable at an ounce of gold at maturity. And number two is gold revaluation. The US officially holds 261 million troy ounces of gold, but on the books, it's priced at just $422 an ounce. Now, the real market price is over $3,400. Now, if Trump were to revalue that gold higher, some say even as high as $15,000 per ounce, it would instantly create trillions of dollars in paper gains. Now, that capital then could be used to reduce bond issuance and ease the funding pressure. Now, will stablecoins really generate enough treasury demand? The entire crypto market is worth about $4 trillion, and stablecoins account for just $280 billion. Now, will gold-backed treasuries gain credibility with global investors? And what happens if the Federal Reserve itself has to step in as a buyer of last resort, signaling desperation? These are cliffhangers we're all watching. Now, let me ask you a question. If you had to choose one, which would you rather see? The stablecoins tied to T-bills or gold-backed bonds issued by the US? Drop stablecoins or gold in the comments, because I'm curious what you think. Now, let's break it down as simply as possible. The problem is overspending and too much debt. The short-term fix: stablecoins force demand for treasury bills. But the long-term experiment is gold, either through revaluation or gold-backed bonds. The risk is none of these fix overspending, they just buy time. Now, what do you think? Do you think raising interest rates to clear the auctions is acceptable, even if it risks a recession? Let me know what you think. Now, here's what I'll be watching. The up-and-coming treasury auctions: are investors demanding higher yields? Stablecoin market caps, because are they even growing fast enough to matter? And any official signal on the gold policy, because if demand disappoints and rates climb, the interest tab explodes by hundreds of billions, and that changes everything. So what do you think the most realistic path moving forward is. Spending cuts, higher taxes, stablecoins, and gold, or some combination? Let me know what you think. Now, this isn't about fear. This is about math and the markets. If stablecoins and gold-backed securities can manufacture demand, the government may contain rates. But if not, the numbers will force the issue, and I'll keep you updated every step of the way. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you on the next one.